ordinary person just like you. If you take a look inside, you see the great things that people do. Changing lives day and night, but nothing I do ever makes the news. Still I have to do what's right, to the King of all kings all praise is due. Yesterday I was on a train, a little boy asked me my name. He said, sir, I've seen you before, tell me who are you? Said I am a legend that you never heard of before. I said I am a lion, but he never heard me roar. I am a hero that nobody celebrates. But if one person remembers my name, that means I made a change. I'm the man who cooks the food and feed the street people in the afternoon. I'm the lady with the broom, sweeping the halls of your son's preschool. I'm the soldier who's up all night, making sure everything's alright. And if you ask me, I'm quite fine, being an ordinary person, doing what's right. Yesterday at the football game, a little girl asked me my name. She said, sir, I've seen you before, tell me who are you? I said I am a legend that you never heard of before. I said I am a lion, but you never heard me roar. I am a hero that nobody celebrates. But if one person remembers my name, that means on the ocean of fame I'm an unknown sailor. I'm the percussionist playing with the wailers, the one with the shaker, the mover and shaker. My name wasn't on the front of the paper, but me not cater. Much more than the work is greater. Creation glorifies creator. So all deeds done are in the name of my maker. I am a legend that you probably never hear about. Words from the lion's mouth. I am a hero that nobody celebrates. But if one person remembers my name, give praise, that means I made a change. Story of my life, ordinary person just like you. If you take a look inside, you see the great things that people do. We're out here changing lives day and night, day in, day out. BBC don't show it, CNN don't show it. He's out.
Check it. 1, 2, what's going on? Turn it up. Check 1, 2. I want to play around.
Okay.
All right, cool. It's radio, my dear. It's radio. You know what I mean?
Oh, right. So I need to learn how to speak to this thing.
Yeah, you say 1, 2, 1, 2.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, go on.
1, 2, 1, 2.
No, it's not on.
Not on.
It's low, isn't it? Okay, 1, 2.
1, 2.
All right, see. There's singing mics, you talk to the side. Ordinary mics, you talk to the top.
I got you. Okay. I don't do singing, no talk.
It's a singing mic.
But this is it. So I'll talk to the side. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
You're gonna think.
Right, just in case anybody don't know what going, just to let her know that she's live. Just in case, you saw that 1, 2, 1, 2, that was all live, you know.
Oh, was that
Yeah,
live?
that wasn't a test, you know. That was the
Wasn't
real
it?
thing. But I was making you think it's the test. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's all part now. The world can hear you say 1, 2. You know what I mean? All right. So what go on, people? I know so kind of late, and this is not Lady Pearls with a husky voice. Yeah, I mean,
Stay there with a husky voice. What do you mean?
no, I don't want them to think that I'm her. You understand?
Okay,
So,
got
because
you.
this is her show.
No, yeah, you don't sound like her.
Yeah, no. You know what I mean?
Like to,
No, I wouldn't like to sound like her. You know what I mean? Although she got a nice voice and thing, but it's not masculine enough. You know what I mean? She needs some
power.
Yeah, some thing. Yeah. Oh, I'm not saying what the thing is, but she needs something.
Spinach.
All right. So here we go. All right. I remember this picture, and I know what this one is. All right. So people, wagwan. I play the chronics for you. I am sitting in here for Lady Pearls, and today's show is supposed to be the Pearls of Wisdom show, which it is, and she's supposed to be here, but she got some man things to do. So let her do her man things. You know what I mean? So as you those who were listening last week, we was talking to the lady with the plantation. For all those who want to know how to grow herbs. Yes. You know what I mean? What are the herbalists them? If you want to know, we have somebody who can make your hands green.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we have enough ways. Right. So we're talking about the thing. So introduce yourself, madam. We was here last week.
Okay. So am I? Yeah. Cool.
Are you what?
It's good.
Huh?
Nothing. My name is I don't know what that was about, but I got a little bit confused there. Sorry.
It's a man thing.
Yeah,
You know, it's a woman
the,
thing.
It's the man. It's the energy. Yeah, it's the energy.
Oh, energy. She said, "Oh, energy." All right, come people, look,
So
come.
I'll introduce myself.
Yes.
So my name is Shana Lua.
Mm-hmm.
I am a horticulturist.
Otherwise, somebody who plant the land.
Yes, someone who works with the land, and I focus on growing food, using nature as an educational tool.
Mm-hmm.
I share my knowledge with children mainly, but also adults, but I prefer to teach children. And I do this through learning establishments where I go into schools and teach the children how to grow food, the whole cycle of plant life from seed to plate. I also run a few community projects, again teaching those who are willing to learn and who want to learn how to grow food using organic methods and how to respect and work with and alongside nature.
All right. Well, that was that. So people, she told you what she does. I went to find out for myself, and I brought me and my team to your plantation. Yes. To investigate Wagwan. I should have actually come and filmed some footage still, but I didn't expect to see what I was going to see. So went down there to see Wagwan, and I can't tell you everything because some of it I can't tell you anyway, because I can't. There's none of it. I can't tell you everything. I can tell you what go on. So the man them was there, and everybody was there looking at the plantation. Met some people who was helping planting some stuff and this and that. The place has got potential. Small though.
That's one of the places, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's actually, you think it's small? The growing space?
Yeah, you need more space because you could not grow a lot of food there, but you need more space for growing.
We have 5 different areas of growing.
Mm-hmm.
So we have the children's garden that is mainly for children. Beautiful setup. It has a pond. He invites biodiversity. It has a den as well, made out of willow, so we can do all the storytelling. It has.
You lot tell stories.
I don't tell stories. Well, but it was set up for people to come in and be able to offer that service. But yeah, it was used before in the past to do that, to tell stories as well. And but I use it a lot to when I'm working with children, and not outside the food growing. We go there, we have a good time, we have picnic, we look at the insects that are growing, that are living there, the biodiversity, how the insects link with each other. This insect eats that insect.
Insects link with each other.
How they work with each other.
Cause I think you watch them do their thing.
Do you know what? You see that every day, but you don't even notice that. You just walk past, you don't even notice that.
So what do worms do then?
Oh, worms. Oh, I could talk about worms for a week if you want me to. Yeah.
Worms is a funny thing, you know. 'Cause
No.
I want to know. I'm curious to know how worms multiply. Because
Okay.
when you chop them in half, they go back their business.
Yeah.
So I'm saying like, yo,
How you
these
doing?
guys got enough babies, brethren. Because they can just chop off anything and it just
I don't know
come back up.
worms.
I used to chop up worms when I was little.
Is that what you did for fun?
Not for fun. I just was experimenting.
Really?
Of course,
That's
not chop,
mean.
not like chop. Listen,
How many times did you do it?
I emphasize the word little. Yeah, when you're a child, you do childish things. Yeah, when you're a man, you put those things away. So if I'm not allowed to chop up worms when I'm little, yeah, then yeah, how am I gonna learn? You understand? So I'm sure you must have done something when you was little.
No.
Anyway, I used to chop them up. Not literally go and chop them up with a chopper, but my dad used to do farming.
Oh yeah.
So,
So
when
you
I
have no
see the
choice,
big one,
yeah.
then, or if you chop them with a shovel,
Yeah.
they split up and go different
Separate
ways. So
ways.
that's what kind of like curious with them. I don't like the way they die when when there's no sun, or when they're out of the dirt. I don't like that. I think that's a wicked way to die.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that's
They're
cold.
anemic as well.
They're
Worms
what?
can get very anemic. So if they're in soil and that soil is not nutritious, you will see that they become really anemic. They're very white. There's no color to them, and they can't really move properly. You know.
They move? Show me again. Got do it again.
Can't move properly, innit?
Hey, we should have a webcam, people. You need a webcam. You see how worms move?
No, that's not how I do
I
it.
don't.
Add a bit more flow to it, yeah.
Okay, right. So that's how worms move, people. Right. So choose to Lady Pearls ain't here. You're gonna have to take the beating instead, yeah, because
right.
she's used to the thing. You know what I mean? So like how you're sitting in her chair and thing, you have to get this kind of treatment.
I'll
You know
get
what
the
I mean?
treatment. I'll just make sure to give it back to her when I see her tomorrow, right?
Yes, please do. All
Yes.
right. So Lady Pearls,
We're on.
we're gonna deal. You're gonna get the thing done. Right. Let's get back to the planting thing, not the planting, like planting. Worms. Right. We're not gonna talk everything about plant because we also got another brethren here
Yes.
that I'd like to talk to as well.
Yes.
Which I'm going to introduce him to you guys in a little while, but we're going to talk about more of the plants. So back to the worms, yeah.
Yes. I'm excited about
So that
worms.
Yeah.
Yes. I love worms.
Okay. When's your birthday?
November the 4th.
So if I get you a box of worms, you'll be
Yes,
cool.
I'll be so excited because I have a wormery that it's filling up. So please, I'm a simple girl. I like things like that. Bring me some worms, some leaves, some sticks.
Hey, this is makes a people. This is what you will call a simple relationship. You have a girl and she like worms in her. No bother with no flowers.
No.
Just
no,
bring
I
a
like
bag of
flowers
worms and
as
give
well.
her, and she will be happy.
I like flowers as well.
No.
But you don't have to buy them. You can pick them.
Flowers die.
It doesn't matter. They die, but they decompose. So I'll always recycle them.
Yeah, but worms are living things.
I
And
know.
that'd be so romantic.
I
If
know.
I came home, give my lady worms.
I'll be so happy.
Okay, you see? That's romance there.
Yeah. I'll be
Worms,
really
you know.
seriously,
What
I
about
would be, 'cause
cockroaches and all those
no,
things?
no. Okay, let's stop.
You're
there.
not romantic. Then.
I am
You
romantic.
don't know about
Worms,
cockroach.
because there's a
You see,
purpose.
people, this is what it is. So,
Purpose for worms.
yeah, cockroaches do their job as well, you know. And they only come out at night or in the dark and thing.
No. Have you seen the cockroaches back home? How big they are? You can keep them.
Okay. That's not a regular cockroach. Those
Yeah,
cockroaches,
That's
you can put them on a lead, innit? Do you know what I mean? Them
You
big
can.
cockroach people, you have to walk with the lead with
Yeah,
them.
you
You know
have
what I
to,
mean?
You have to.
That's all good still, right? So we could go back to the worming thing. What worms? What do worms do? Just in case people don't know and anybody else locks them. We're not going to just talk. Oh, worms! Oh, what squeegee? And people. Oh, I don't. Well, if it wasn't for worms, you wouldn't be able to eat anything, and you wouldn't have no food. So let's explain the job of the worm and what the
Okay,
worm
so
does.
worms play one of the most crucial roles in nature, food growing, should I say, in relation to food growing. Worm poo. worm
Hey, do they do
casting-
that?
Yes. Worm casting is considered and is seen,
Don't say delicacy.
no, to the plants, yes.
Oh.
It's called a gardener's gold, black gold. That's what it is. It's the
Worm.
most nutritious food that you can
Ooh.
feed your plant with.
Oh, I thought he was gonna say eat.
No, you don't want to.
You said
eat it.
food.
The foods that you can because what worms do. Remember, they take all the biolife, the microlife, the dead leaves, whatever is on the surface, they bring it down and they will eat it and then poo it. So which means they're eating all that goodness, and then when they poo, that's what's going back into the soil. So that's why I want you to get me the worms for my birthday, so that I can put it in my
So you can get the poo.
So that I can get the poo, because it's the tea that I need for my plants, and it's the richest things that you
Can I tell you something, people? Your relationship must be romantic.
Not really, because they don't get me no worms.
Well, but that's it. If I can get my girl a bag of shaving cream.
Or worms.
Same thing. It comes from the worms.
Okay.
Yeah. So I can't believe what I'm hearing. I cannot believe what I'm hearing.
Well, it's black gold. That is black gold. That's gardener's gold, and that's the most. That's the best thing that you can give your plants is worm casting. What?
I can't believe this is when you need pearls, to bail you out.
Why?
Wow.
Wait, did I? Well, I'm in trouble.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I never even thought about worms doing that.
Yeah.
I can't imagine worms having sex.
So, okay.
They must have get tangled up and everything, innit?
I haven't got. Well, I don't know.
Not meaning talking, not to mean like that, because all these creatures in the earth, they have a purpose.
That's right.
Do worms like live in a colony? I know people don't want to talk like about worms, but I'm finding it interesting because I used to treat them bad. Not bad, but I'm just kind of, it's good to know what these creatures are, because when we dig in the garden, we go through them. Sometimes we stab them, we see there's a big worm and you just chop it in half.
Yeah, children do that a lot.
Yeah, because we're not really thinking what they actually do and how they live. You understand what I'm saying? Because everything's connected.
Hey, did you know that they have 5 hearts? So if you break one, you still have 4 left.
They have what?
5 hearts.
5?
Yeah.
5
beating hearts.
5 hearts?
Yes.
So that's why you can chop them?
It could be, yeah.
So I was helping multiplication. I was helping. Yeah.
And it was a school. It was actually the children at. I didn't know this. Recently, I found out. Oh, well, not recently, but it was the children that taught me that. And they bought me a book, a worm book.
Worm has got 5 hearts.
Yeah, and they were.
Why?
I don't know. That's something.
What's the purpose of that?
So if you break one.
Oh, you see, God knew what He was doing when He was making them. He knew that we'll be digging into the ground with tools. So He made them like potatoes.
Yes, that's right. Without the eyes.
Yes.
With the hearts instead.
That's it.
No potato tree though.
Those are the potatoes of the earth.
Yes. Yes.
And if you chop them, even if you chop a little piece, it can still.
You can still grow.
That is excellent.
Yeah.
That is good. That's a nice story to the worm.
Yeah.
Right.
No, that's one thing. They also indicators. So if your land is lacking soil is lacking worms, then you know that land is no good. If there's no life in that land under the surface, then you know that land is no good. It's either been played and it has chemicals, but there's a reason why it's no good. So if the worms can't go into your land, then you shouldn't be planting anything. What you should be doing is amending and restructuring the land. Right. Replenishing the land, that's it.
Okay, right. Making it interesting. You're making it very interesting. I never thought I was going to be talking about worms today. That's something that I never thought I was going to be thinking about. But when you brought the conversation up,
you brought it up.
Kinda. Yeah, I just said I used to chop worms. But when you brought the conversation up, I thought, all right, chop worms. Now we're going deeper into this conversation of what the worms do and how they live. And now we know that worms have got 5 hearts. That's like amazing. So where do we get worms from in that amount? Like, where do you get them from?
Well, there's so many different sources. I mean, one fun thing would be to get the children to
dig
them up. They love it. I mean, if they work in the land, naturally you'll see loads of worms. Oh, the compost heaps, best place to get worms. Because if you're doing your own compost, if you're producing your own compost, you have a heap, and no doubt, if the heap is good, if it's nutritious, then you will get the worm rate. But it needs to be closed. Worms like heat and temperature as well. Remember that.
Okay, right then. So what we're gonna do, yeah, we're gonna give out the number, because if there's anybody out there who really wants to get some worms and thing, you can give them your number, yeah.
I don't get worms.
No, if there's anybody want worms, because you want worms, innit?
No, I don't have worms.
No, you want.
I want worms. Yes, I do. If anyone can come in and give me my birthday present before.
Right. So if anybody out there want something to do, you can come dig up some worms and thing. You know what I mean, and give you a bag of them.
Yes,
I don't know.
That's what I need in my life.
Worms.
That's right.
You're a different type of person.
I know. Can you imagine
actually talk to somebody who like these strange things.
I know plenty of people.
Normally, people like women like
yeah.
different things, but you like a farmer, like you was born on a farm or something, and everything is getting your hands dirty.
Yeah, I love it. It's very hard for me to stay clean.
Why? Anyway.
Right.
Right. So, people, today we had a nice conversation about worms, right? Although we didn't plan it, but it was interesting to know. What else do you do?
What else do I do? What other than cultivate?
Yeah, apart from getting your hands dirty and planting and the stuff with the children and all of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I set up projects. So I do all the infrastructure, all the building. I run volunteering programs. It's pretty much like running a business, really and truly, running a farm. There's so much to it that I think people are. It's not just working the land. There's all the details that go behind the scenes that people don't see. There's a planting plan. You have to include your rotation plan, your companion planting plan. There's a lot that goes into cultivating the land and making sure that we are working with the land as opposed to against the land.
All right.
That makes sense?
We was talking about some people were listening last week. I'll type my texting crew. I forgot the phone. I'll go and get the phone in a minute. The phone is just doing what it's doing. Last week we was talking about plants that talk. Yeah, we didn't have enough time to really elaborate into those kind of things, yeah. And we was talking about that plant. Remember the plant, what I was saying, that, do they call it a prayer plant?
What? Prayer plant.
Prayer plant.
The one that closes at night.
The one that closes in the night.
And it opens in the
morning. And they go...
Yeah. There's loads of...
That was one of the most frightening thing. One of the experience I had, I said last week, that when I heard that noise, that all night, and I'm looking, I'm thinking, there's something in the house, and I'm panicking because I know I can hear it. I said, a cockroach, what is this? And it was the plant. And from that, I just started to see nature in a different way.
Magical, isn't
you understand? And they got plants that eat spiders and eat things. There's plants that eat rats as well. There is. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a plant. This guy got a plant, but what he has to do, he has to feed it with rats.
Is it does it look like an aloe but really massive? Is it got really thin?
No.
Because we in where I'm from in Africa, Angola, we have a carnivorous plants. That's you can only find it in the desert, and he attracts his prey by the scent that it gives out as well. And then once the prey comes in, but it's huge. It's about 3-4 meters tall.
So if you fall in, it can eat you too.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Should we try? You want to try?
4 meter plant.
Yeah, the leaves that it can grow because they're not disturbed. They're in the desert,
so they can just grow and grow and grow and grow.
Yeah,
4 meters.
It's massive. It's like they're massive. The leaves go. God knows, they just That
means you can fall in it if anything in it. I know there's a plant that it looks like a upside down bell.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like an upside down bell, and it grows like a vine, like grapes.
Yeah.
But it's got 1 or 2 here and there. It's not like loads and loads of them. You find them. So what happened? You have to feed it with rats or fly, like rats, mice, anything, and it drops in there, and then it closes. You know what I mean? Because the mice, how it stays, because it's like a bell, anything that falls in it can't get out because you got to turn around.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
so you can't turn around to get out. Yeah, and because it's sticky, you're stuck. It's like a bit like the cactus fly plant. Yeah. So it's a bit like that, but a king size version. And the rats, they eat the rats. They eat the rats. Them. They're not literally physically eat it, but it just squashes it and brings it down. No bones or nothing's left behind. Everything gone. Okay. You like plants, don't you?
I like.
I'm gonna get you one of those.
Okay.
Just in case.
With the worms.
No. Don't get one of them, because if you got mice in your house, it's good to have a plant.
I don't have mice in my house.
No, I'm just saying, if somebody got mice in their house, it'd be good to have a plant that eat them.
Okay.
I think. Is that a cruel thing to say? Is that
no, but you know what? Why not? I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? There's a
recycling them.
Yeah, there's a purpose for everything.
Killing them, give them to the plant.
If your man troubles you, you know what to do. Get in one of those plants, yeah? Make sure.
No. Bleep. Where's the bell? No.
I can't help myself.
No.
That's it.
You
Just
hear
keep
that,
your mouth
Virgin?
shut. Don't say nothing.
She's gonna get a plant for you, you know. It's good. You know what?
No, but I can't do that now. He's heard it.
Okay, that's.
That plant won't last long.
Oh,
You
no.
wouldn't know, man. You wouldn't know. But you know, when women do something, you're the last one to know anyway. That's how it goes. That's them by
Just
nature.
keep one eye open. That's all I'm saying.
All right, make I talk to my brethren and see what go on. Right. Yes, so we're talking about all different kind of plants, letting you know, say, yeah, you have to treat the plants then with respect, because if you don't, it's not going to be a good thing. You know what I mean? Because they do talk to each other. That's what it was
Right,
yesterday.
that's what I was gonna say, yes.
Right, that's
Let's
it.
go back to that.
Right, that's your microphone. I'm going to.
Make sure you talk to the mic and not to the plant.
Yeah, I twist my plant around the other day. But yeah, plants talk.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
They communicate with each other, yes.
Yes. So don't be doing certain things and think the plant don't see it. And even when it comes to scriptures, yeah, the scriptures say that the Most High will go to the rocks, and the rocks themselves will bear witness against you. Rocks, you know. So that means, do rocks talk too?
I don't know about that. I can't believe this. I don't know. Is a rock a living? It's not, is it? But somehow it
Yes.
has.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I agree
Right.
too.
You
Right.
mean, you think
Alright.
it's a living?
You got to switch your mic on, yeah?
Is a living?
Are crystals alive?
Yes.
All right, fair enough. They're not alive, but they give out energy. I don't know, you know. That's like, I mean, they hold properties in itself, innit? Okay.
But it's
explain
still a
to me
form of
then.
a rock, though, isn't it?
I know about plants, and I know. Oh, explain to me.
Everything's alive.
Everything.
Okay, fair enough.
All right.
Fair enough. But a rock.
All right
Okay,
then.
fair enough. I know they hold history, but are they alive?
All right. I'm going to give you a scenario about rocks that are alive. I'm going to talk to both of you. All right. All right. Introduce yourself. What's your name? We'll call him brother.
Mr. Freeman.
Mr. Freeman on the land.
Well, not really a Freeman on the land. It's more from the spook who sat by the door.
All right. It's Mr. Freeman. Yeah. All right. If you're going to laugh, just laugh, Reggie. Not holy team. You know what I mean? There's no holy thing right here. Just if you're going to laugh, you laugh.
You see his face as well, like proper proud, yeah, you know? Okay.
Of
Hi,
course.
Mr. Freeman, how you doing?
Yes. See? So that's how it is. See? She want bust out her laughing and she's trying to be decent and hold it in. You know what I mean? Till her strawberry cheeks couldn't take no more. You had to come out, man. You know what I
That's my
mean?
name, by the way, yeah, Strawberry.
All right. Back to you. Where was we now?
Freeman from the land.
No.
No, he's not from the
Stone.
land.
Rocks
The
alive.
stones and the rocks, them.
Yes. So go
All
on.
right. No, I was going to give him a scenario, both of you. That's it. In Jamaica, you have this rock. Yeah?
Yeah.
I'll tell everybody who know about the rock, yeah?
Yeah.
You got a rock. It's actually, there's more than one of them, but there's one of them is a rock and one of them is a tree. Yeah? Similar situation. You got a rock on one side of the road and another rock on the other side of the road. You also have a tree on one side of the road and another tree not too far away from it. These trees have what do you call it? Body parts. They have, for this one of the trees a penis and the other tree is the vagina.
Really?
It looks
What, the
the shape of the tree.
The shape of the tree.
The shape of
Really?
the tree, yeah. And the tree, the man tree is trying to get across the road to the other rock. This you can actually see it.
Is
Real.
this a
It's a real
stone?
tree.
If I Google it, I will see pictures of these trees. these trees.
Yes, it's only one tree. It's not this tree.
Oh, it's okay.
It's not what you can't go there, and women ain't allowed to go there.
Why not?
I only joking.
Okay.
Yeah,
Listen,
what you
I'm
want to go there for? You're too nosy. No, to look at the
research.
trees, okay.
research.
Oh, to get some worms.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
Jamaican
to
worm.
see then that my
Get some
context.
Jamaican worms. It's good, right? So, the point of the matter, what I'm trying to show to you is this. There's one tree on the other side, and there's the other tree on the other side. The tree on this side is trying to get across the road, literally. Yeah, I don't know how it happened, but there's also a rock
In the middle. Where?
in Jamaica
No, I know, but where's the rock in positioned?
on the ground, innit?
Obviously, but where in between the tree on the side of the tree?
No, this is somewhere else.
Ah, okay. So
Right, so there's one place where there's a tree, and there's another place where there's a rock. Yeah, and on the other side there's another rock. See, so I'm just trying to show you in nature there's certain things, even in the rocks, that I have to question and say to myself, rocks are alive. Rocks are alive. Definitely alive. Mountains, some of them are alive. Some of them, not all of them. Some of them are alive.
that's the next question. Are rocks alive?
Nah, you'd be surprised, right? Because like what I just said that part there. What do you have anything you have to say about the rocks? Because you're saying the rocks are alive too. Why are you saying they're alive?
Mike.
I believe everything's alive. Everything in this reality is alive.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything is a living thing.
Until it's dead. I mean, I suppose things can die.
Mm.
But I don't believe rocks live and die the same way as a tree would.
See, but everything dies and recycle and come back again in another shape or form. So back to the rocks now. There is some rocks which we think are rocks, or mountains, which we think are mountains, but they're not.
Sleeping
Mountains.
Beauties, yeah.
Huh?
Who are they? Sleeping Beauties.
Yeah. Right. What
Sleeping
some of them
giants.
are. Yes. What they are. Some of them mountains and rocks are the actual giants that came to the earth in the beginning of the creation. Some of the giants that came to the earth, people might think, oh, these giants are 50 foot high and this and no. These giants were, we would be next to their foot.
What?
We would be up to their feet. We would be on their feet. We'd be down there. Living giants used to be on the earth, and that's how big they were. This is my research showed me this. That the giants then was that big, massive. They also got a tree. That's some trees that are on the earth. You'd like this part, yeah?
Redwood.
No, redwood is not a tree.
Okay.
Those are not a tree. What we call forests today are not forests.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, what we call forests today is in our term today would be grass and bush.
Okay.
I'm talking about
Okay,
the
yeah.
forests.
Yeah.
We would see that as grass and bush
Yeah.
in the back end of the day because the air was different. So because the air was different, the plants can grow bigger.
Yes. Yes.
So the trees them used to be like even a mile high, maybe more. That's how tall the trees were at that time. The trees, there's evidence of these trees still on the earth, but they chop them. But they don't know how somebody chopped these trees down. Because if these trees, the stump is about, the width of the tree is about over a mile. Right, that's how wide the tree is.
And we're talking about ancient times here.
Yes. Now so if the stem of the tree is about a mile, how tall is that tree?
Yeah.
This is why they say these trees must be about 5 miles high or 10 miles or 20 miles or however tall these trees were. But these trees existed and there's evidence of these trees. See, now if a tree is that tall, somebody's going to have to eat the fruit off that tree.
And how big is that fruit?
And how big is that person?
Oh.
Right? That's the first thing. Now,
I wonder how big the worms were back then. Sorry. I couldn't help myself.
all right then. Well, the worms, yeah. If a tree is that big, that means
Jeez. Okay.
Right. So
Wow.
that's the tree. I know that. But I've actually seen. If you got to look at the video footage of this tree, yeah, you know about this. This is the tree. That's the tree. That's one of them. Who chopped that tree down? That's the question. The top of it is flat. That means somebody chop it down. Who chopped that tree down?
Gosh, this is ridiculous. It's like a mountain, isn't it?
And the man is like down there on that tree. Because if you look at the size of that tree, is there a man near that tree so you can see actually how big that tree
There's
is?
a tree. There's trees next to the tree, which the trees that today's trees, and they look like you said like grass. In comparison to that tree, they look like little,
Right.
like grass.
So the guy that chopped down that tree is the guy that you need to find. Because he's got the biggest worms.
Yeah, innit?
Yeah, he knows where they are.
You need an apprentice.
No, man, I think he might nyam you because the way that guy is big, the way that guy is big, yeah, and tall, yeah. So now, when these guys who fed off of those size trees, because that means if the tree is about 5 miles high, the fruit is in his hand, yeah.
Size of a car.
Bigger than a car. So you have to, when you look at the estimate of the tree and somebody comes to eat off that tree would be naturally a bit bigger than the person who's going to be eating off the tree. Or the tree would be taller than the person that's going to be feeding off of the tree. Right. So that person could be even a mile high if the tree is 5 miles high, because you got to be able to reach the tree to eat the food.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
I'm saying the fruit be like big as large as a car.
Right. So when those guys die, what happens to them?
What happens?
No one ain't gonna bury them.
No, they're
too
get
big.
Eaten, innit?
Right. So what happens is this: some of these people, they turn into fossils, and some of them turn into stone, and which we have mountains. Now, enough of the islands that we live on nowadays, I personally realize there's so much connection with animals and human bodies that we're not looking at this. Now, I could break it down quickly. The map of Africa, what does it look like?
What does it look like? What does it look like?
You have eyes to see and can't see.
Like an afro head. I don't know. What does it look like?
Alright, this is what it looks like. Alright, this is the way
It's
it
like a
would be.
face, isn't it?
Right.
It's a face. It's a face. Yeah.
Alright,
On
look
the
at this.
side.
Imagine, can you see a Rasta man
I
with
can
his
see
hat
a
on?
face. No, I can't.
Oh, gosh. That's the peak of his hat. That's his nose. That's his mouth. That's his chin.
Mhm.
Right.
I
chin.
can see an Afro woman.
Right. Even a queen, empress. Yeah. The chin, the lips. That's the lips. That's the nose, the eyes, and that's the wrap.
The wrap.
So either way, it's still a head.
Yes, that's right.
Africa has always been the head of the planet from the
I like
beginning.
that.
Yeah. No matter what happens, that's why we say Mother Africa,
Yeah,
because
that's
the
right.
African head,
It's
which
the
is the
head.
African queen
Yes.
with a wrap on. When you look at the map of Africa, if you can't see an African queen, you can't see Africa.
Yeah.
You understand? If you
That's
can't
right.
see an African king with his turban on, then you can't see Africa. And it's there. Now I say to myself, where's the rest of the body?
Good question.
If that's the head, and it clearly looks like a head to me,
Yeah.
where's the rest of the body?
Yes.
More example now. Jamaica, this wonderful island that they call paradise. List of countries: Jamaica, Australia, Turkey. Right, that's just three that I could just think of randomly, yeah? If you take these countries on the map and turn them on their side, you will see what they are. If you turn the map of I'll leave it Jamaica till last. If you turn the map of Turkey on its side, it looks like a literal turkey. Yeah? Australia looks like a koala bear. See? Jamaica, which they say is the land of the Taínos or Arawak Indians, if you turn the map of Jamaica on its side, it looks like an Indian.
Really?
But I'm just trying to show you. These are the things that I've sat down and worked out
Research.
amongst myself. So I'm saying, so where's the rest of the body?
That's a good concept, though. I do like that. Still.
Right.
That's a good
Now we're going to simplify and look at the land and the mountains and the landscapes of the mountains.
Yes.
There was a time on the earth where something happened, sudden impact, something happened on the earth that made a lot of things turn to fossil and stone. I don't know what happened, but I know something happened. There is so much rocks and mountains that are literally giants. But we're walking on these mountains and don't realize you're walking on a giant that turned into fossils. Yeah? And people can turn into fossils without even waiting thousands and thousands of years, because there's fossils out there of man's foot, if they're found in the sand somewhere. His foot is in a boot, but his foot turned to stone. But the boot was still there. The boot's still a boot, but the foot inside the boot was solid rock.
How big was this boot?
Man size, your size,
size,
ordinary
okay.
person's foot.
Really?
Yeah. So when we're looking at all of these things, that these nature can turn flesh into stone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Now, if nature can turn flesh into stone, what happens to the rest of the organs in the body of that giant that turns into stone?
Yeah.
So this is now how you get these things which we call crystals.
Okay.
Some of them are the blood, some of them are different, because in your body you got different colors and different
Yeah, with the
iridiums and all the
shackles, yeah.
different stones. So that means if all of this turns to stone, that will explain why you get certain
That's
crystals,
interesting.
because certain crystals will represent certain organs of
of
that
your-
body,
yeah.
of that thing at that time, which we wear around our neck, or for healing energy, like which certain crystals are pink, which would more or less represent the heart. So we could be using that as the heart of that particular giant,
Yeah.
or it could be, you can go so far as it could be the blood cell. There's a massive blood cell which we call a crystal, because some of them are round, like an egg. What is that? That's a fossil. That could be a fossil blood cell, because the way it is on the outside and the way it is on the inside is like a blood cell or a massive egg. Like if a woman has a certain amount of eggs, there's only a certain amount of them there are, but it's an egg shape. Some of the crystals, until you break them,
Yeah.
then they shatter them into pieces. So I'm saying, are we really wearing a lot of giants' body parts
I don't know.
without even realizing you're walking around with a lot of dead people things on you? Yeah, creating this energy from these things, not even realizing, is it really a crystal or is it a fossilized part of somebody or something's body? My brethren,
Freeman. will you
Free
tell me
man.
about this?
we share the information with you,
Yes.
right? And you,
Oh yes.
right? Because you love plants.
I do.
But as I said, we go back home and we're walking on people and don't even realize we are walking on people. We're looking at mountains and people living on mountains, but have you really had to look at the shape of the mountain? Have you ever really looked at you're walking on top of a pregnant woman who was fossilized, because you can see her belly and her breasts and her head if you stand back and look at the mountain? Some of these mountains are so clearly human faces that they don't let the world know. I'm glad we're on the internet talking about this. All those who are listening, you know, you're getting a something today that I don't normally give you, but I'm going to share a little information with you, because knowledge is power. So some of these people don't realize that there is so much giants around us on the land that we, the media, do not show it, because it will prove, number one, that the Bible is not old, and it will also prove that, oh, Moses is how much thousand a year, the earth is so thousand years old. It will knock it all out the window. So they're not going to reveal their little scam, their little lies. They tricked everybody into living in this little, how much, 1,000 years on the planet, when it's been billions and billions and billions of years. So I'd like to share that little journey with you.
No,
And
that's
make sure you look
great.
out for the mountains in Africa, because you might be looking at a female giant or a male
Yeah,
giant,
when-
a bird, an eagle.
I like it.
You can find.
That was a good concept, a good story. I wasn't aware of some of the facts that you just shared, or some of the knowledge
Because
that you just shared.
The scripture says they have eyes to see but don't see. They have ears to hear but don't hear. Everything that is created is right in front of your face, but you can't see it. Even the air you breathe in, you can see it if you really look,
Want to see it well.
but you don't look.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Which is called a firmament. What in a firmament?
What's your input on this, Freeman?
It's I've never thought about it before, but I don't doubt it. I don't dismiss it.
Mm.
There's proof. There is, if you, as I said, I've had time to research within this past month because of what's happening with radio and this and that, and I've realised all of us has jumped forward, like some quantum jump, but we're not used to the journey. We're not used to where we are at the moment, but we all have come forward in such a leap. We're just getting to understand that we've all moved forward. If you understand what I'm saying, it's like we've all had a quantum push. Everybody who is somebody spiritually connected to this thing has been pushed forward. Whether you want to accept it or not, or whether you want to live your old life and be your old self and love your old things, when those things can't work where we are now. You understand? So, for example, your connection with nature and all that stuff will be so much deeper now than ever before. That you're taking this thing to the extreme. But before,
Actually,
you never used to do that.
That's used to
Because
come,
you've been pushed. All of us, and you've been pushed. Everybody's been pushed. But some of us, because we're still eating the same food, we're still watching the same films, we're still doing the same routine. How can you move forward if you're still putting the same petrol in the car? Your engine's been upgraded, but you're still using petrol when it's unleaded now. Relax. Now you need to have unleaded, cleaner fuel for the vehicle because the engine's been changed while we were sleeping. You understand? And we go up, know the engine's been changed, but still put the old petrol in the car.
Yeah.
So this is where we kind of like, we need to wake up and realize we don't know nothing. That is it. What we think we know is nothing compared to what there is to know. You understand? So that's why we had to get this push forward so that we can know something that we never would have accepted before. Now we can say, yeah, we've got internet, we can research it. But before, 10, 20 years ago, tell me about giants and crystals. I say, yeah, obia man, and with all these crystals around your neck, we used to be suspicious of these things. And now we know the purpose because but now we've moved again. But we're still eating the same food. We're still talking to each other the same way. You understand? We haven't changed with the spirit. So this is where we're all at. And we need to realize you cannot, what I'm saying? Pour new wine into old bottles. You understand? Because it will crack the bottle. Or they say the bottle, but it's not the bottle. It's wine skin. Yeah. Parables, you put new wine into old wineskin, the wineskin's going to fall apart. But we are the new wine, as scripturally speaking, which I will call it, we are awake. And we are the new wine, and we are now still trying to put this new wine in the same old bottle that we've been carrying. We need to detox, clean our minds, create a new wineskin within ourselves. And then we can now see the new wine and taste the new wine and feel the new wine, but we won't get drunk on it because we actually know what it is. But some people will get drunk on this knowledge and this leap because they're not cleaning up their vessel and their mind to go with the wine that's coming. So they're going to get drunk.
Like crazy,
Yeah. And that's what's happening.
Yes,
because
exactly what's happening.
That's what's happening. They've all excelled. They've all got this new wine. They've all got this, me. And they're all getting drunk with the wine of violence. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that knowledge.
And that's what it is.
Freeman, you want to say something?
I was just going to add to the car analogy.
Yeah, go on.
Because whilst you said that people are going around from leaded to unleaded, but at the same time, there's certain people on the planet that's just going around on water.
Oh, what, the empty vessels?
Bikes and cars that are running on water in certain parts of the world. And a lot of people don't even understand, they don't know it, they don't even understand it. So whilst you're going around,
you're actually being serious on it. Okay,
sorry.
That was an analogy. I'm like,
people think they're good by going from leaded to unleaded, but at the same, we could be going around on water.
Right, even what you're saying there now, which is a good analysis, because now you're saying water now. Those are the cream of the crop. You understand? Those are the vegans, them. Those are the ones that's living off of Mother Earth and connected off of the Mother Earth, other cars that are running on water. Remember, your body is like a vehicle. So if we classify ourselves as cars and vehicles, some of us are running on petrol.
So that's Purity. That's
Aye.
purity to the.
They step totally out of the game.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to no petrol station to get their their fuel. They've gone out of the game and they're doing their own thing. But they're invisible to a lot of to the rest of society.
Yes.
You don't understand it can even be done. More or less, no, it's an option to be done.
You can go deep. You can go so deep that you don't really need to eat food. Because you don't really need to eat food. If you want to take it to that extreme.
Breatharians, of course.
Yeah, you can do that. But as I said, I'm glad you brought up the water thing, because that's where we need to be eventually to live off of the earth. And those are the cars what are water, run by water, like the brethren said. I say a lot of you are running on petrol, and some of you need to just realize now it's unleaded time, to keep it simple. We'll go to the water time. Some of you can't angle the vegan, yeah, and you will go mad because you're going to be walking past McDonald's and cracking a box and you want to eat it and you have to hide and eat food. Brethren, if you have to hide and eat, then just don't bother hide. It don't make no sense. The only person you're lying to is yourself. You're not fooling nobody. You understand? So
how would you suppose someone can begin, especially someone who's been called to start that process of
detoxing,
decluttering, how would you
where do you begin?
Where do you begin? Because you know what you have to do. Many of us, I'm talking generally, know what we have to do. It speaks to us, it's constantly talking to us. I know that there's this discipline that has to come into place here, but how do we begin it? Because it's like exercising. You know that you have to exercise, or you have to work out, you have to maintain your whatever. But how do you push yourself? Because you are your worst enemy.
Your mind. All right, give an example. You want a pair of shoes. What kind of pair of shoes you want?
I like barefooted.
This one, you want to go to a party. You want a pair of shoes.
Okay.
You don't say the wedding's coming up in next year.
Yes.
Summertime.
Your wedding?
No.
Oh.
Yeah. Somebody else's wedding.
Okay.
Yeah. Next year, summertime.
And sandals.
You need a pair of shoes, so you're going to plan what you're going to wear. But you think about these things before you get it. All right, then. Even go deeper than that. You got a place you're living in. When you first got that place, it was empty. What did you want in that place before you moved in?
The normal bed,
this,
mattress.
that, right. And you knew what kind of bed you wanted. You knew what kind of this and that. Now, have you got all of these things now?
I've got too many of these things. I'm trying to get rid of it.
Right, but you got it all though.
Yes.
But it originated from a thought.
Yes.
And you thought about it, you visualized it, and you executed it.
That's right. I planned it.
So that's what everything is. Once you think about it, and you visualize it, and you execute it, and say, "This is the new me. This is me." Not even the new me, the real me.
The real me.
Yeah, because half of us is fake. You understand? And half of the food we're eating is fake. So how can we be real? If half of our food is GM, we can never function on our full potential until we go back home. And then we start eating off the trees and the land. We start firing up. That's me. That's when I'm alive, living. Come back here, no one can't tell you nothing until you start adapting again, and this process of deterioration.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and then you become what Babylon wants you to be, comfortable in Egypt. So everything is about thought. So when you think about something, even if you can't do it, you have to think about you doing it. Doesn't matter how you get there. You know what I mean? I want to be a football player, but I don't like I can't play football. Boy, I can see me scoring. And I just keep visualizing this thing of where I want to be. And eventually you will be there because you are your own thoughts. You create who you are. So when you go into a judgment with the Most High, the judgment is just because it's all you that did it. You understand? And all the wrong things you've done and all the lies you're telling and all this, you know you did it to you. You understand? Well, what you do to others, you also do to yourself, because we're all connected. So don't think you're going to harm this guy or harm this girl and think, say, okay, I've left her or left him and that's the end of that. Nope. That pain, what you put with each other, is going to come back to you one way or another, because you're connected. It's still energy. So we can create what we want with our thoughts. We are in the situation we are because we love to do what we do.
Would be a costume to do what we do.
Yeah, but we love to do what we want to do, because if you wanted to be a millionaire, you could have pursued that. But because you love the earth, you have to make a sacrifice.
Okay, and that's okay.
You understand? So that means, say, you're doing what you want to do. You could be rich, you could be a model, you could do all these things, But no, I'd rather get my hands dirty and hunt down worms. You understand what I'm saying?
That's right.
Because
Say it again.
that's what you like to do. You understand? My
That's
virgin
right.
here, he's doing what he wants to do because that's what he enjoys doing. But if we really was to get off our ass and say, we could take over this place, yeah, we could do it. But we don't really want to do it because we're laid back and we like the earth.
Yes.
You understand? We're connected to the reality, real world. You understand? The real things of life.
Yes.
So, in saying that, we are what we think about. So you can change if you want to change. If and this is why people say that I say, what happened to people? Why are they covering up these things? I can't do it. Listen, if somebody in your life says to you, or you have a conversation and say, yo, this is not going right, I had enough, this or that, when that person walks away and leaves you, yeah, they're gone. When that person walks away and leave you, you tend to get to know yourself and know how much you check for that person, but you don't know until that person's gone. And when that person's gone, you said, why, it wasn't that easy to leave like I thought, brethren. I'm stuck. How do I get myself into this? How do I get out of this? I can't get out of this because I want to be with her, but I can't stand her. And all these things come through your head that you don't know what to do. Boy, you're stuck. You're not stuck. It's where you're meant to be. You understand? It's where you're meant to be. So that's what it is. I was going to go a bit deeper into that, but it's where you're meant to be. You know, sometimes you want to move on and you can't move on. You're connected. We're definitely connected. You make me forget the thing, you know.
How do people make the change into something else?
And
And I
they
think
can. When somebody leaves you, as I was saying to the brethren, free man, when somebody leaves and this and that, you can decide to say, well, I'm done. And you go back your business. Left. 2, 3, 4, 5 days, you realize you're
You're
connected.
missing them.
Yeah. So what happened now? You know what needs to be done to make it work. No matter how puff up or how much ego you want to have, you know.
One of those plants,
Yeah. You know what you have to do. No matter how much, if you're an alcoholic or a drunkard or whatever you may be, junkie, anything you may be, if you love that person more than the issue, and you sit there and say, you know what, man, they say, oh, I want her back, I'll do anything. Oh, I want him back, I'll do anything, and say anything, and they do it. They actually do it. They actually flip the script, person back in their life. So why can't they use that same mentality and flip the script for their own life? They don't think about that. But in a relationship or life or death situation, people will change overnight. But for their own life, they can't do it. Without them, there is nothing else.
It's true, isn't
So how come you can't get up and just make up your mind like this? This is who I am, and this is what I have to be, and I have to change because I have to work with the current that is flowing. What, as I said to before, where the leaf is on the river, going with the current. You have to go with the flow. You understand? If you go against the flow, what's going to happen?
Well, depends. Sometimes you can bust through, innit?
It's a harder battle, but no matter how it goes, you're going to end up that way down the river. It just depends how long it takes you.
Yeah.
If you want to go with the flow, you get there. If you want to fight against the current, you're still going to get there.
Yeah.
Or hopefully, but it's just going to take years. You might not even live to see yourself get there. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you a question in relation to...
You're going to ask me a question.
Yes, I'm going to be
You
asking
never
the
asked me a
questions.
question before.
Have I not?
No.
Okay. We were talking. I want to touch base on the last topic that we were discussing, which was plant communication. We went from plant
talking to
communication,
plants.
and then we went on to sleeping giants,
Mm-hmm.
and now we're talking about conscious and subconscious in a way. You know, this
The consciousness of plants.
Yeah, well. Yeah.
Oh, just subconscious or consciousness of plants.
You whatever you want it. But I want to ask you the previous question from last week was, do plants communicate?
Yeah.
And I think that is a question that we should go back on and discuss the answer to that. My answer is yes, they do, and I can't wait to tell you how.
All right, hold on. I'm going to ask Freeman first.
Okay,
Yeah.
on.
Because
Why you keep putting the phone down-
because
the thing down?
Freeman have to answer this question because I want to try on him.
Mm-hmm.
Freeman, do plants communicate? Yes or no? And if so or not, why?
Yes.
Why?
Yeah.
How? Why? How did you come to this conclusion? Is it? Don't say like a man bought a weed and he was telling me things. You know what I mean? His weed was great. I saw some things and I read them. No, what?
From my research and the stories I've come across, yes, I believe they communicate with each other.
Why?
Why?
Why do they do it?
Yeah.
Or why do I believe it?
Yeah. Why do you believe this? You can't go
Yeah,
around
you
and
can't
say
just say-
walk
exactly.
into
Yeah, because that's it done.
a
Come on,
hospital.
man.
And say, we go to a hospital and say, I know that plants communicate with each other. You know, they'll say, yes, sir, come this way. You understand? So you have to kind of like convince me not to lock you up. Yeah, understand?
Well, it started with a documentary I watched called The
Secret
Secret Life of Plants.
Yeah.
And then since then I've researched a bit more and I've come across more information.
What can you share?
Some
the
of it that I
information?
know Sandy's dying to share about I'll let her get to that, the mycelium.
Strawberry, my name is my lovely.
Strawberry would like to share. And then yes, I've had a lot of interesting stories about them. One being from The Secret Life of Plants, how they did an experiment. A guy, he used a lighter, he burnt a plant leaf, and then when he went into another room with plants, they had sensors on them, and the plants reacted to him coming in the room, like they were afraid of him, like they
Fearful.
panicked when he came in.
And moved
So these
away
plants,
from him.
Yeah, these plants knew that guy was the guy that burnt the other plants.
Is he
Yeah,
the guy
bro.
that gave the guy the black eye?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
go on.
know?
So yeah, stories like that lead me to believe that of course they communicate.
Well, but have you had do you had any experience with any kind of plant to say if they communicate or have you ever acknowledged any plant in any way more than just a plant?
Oh yeah, looking after plants, I've seen them happy and sad. But
So you like to get your hands dirty too?
No, he doesn't. Gosh.
I don't like to, but I do
no,
it.
he
though,
doesn't.
yeah.
No, he does it really badly.
But
Wait till
yeah,
he's
they get
sleeping and just rub dirt on his hands.
You know?
And then and when he wake up and see them, he will say, "What is this?"
How did that little rumble thing going on?
No. It could be an allergy. You know what I mean? So it's go into a little bit of dirt.
You know, we should discuss
Right.
some more tips.
Yeah, but sometimes you have to get people to use. Back in our ancestors never had no choice but to do these things, but to plant, whether they liked it or not. We lucky we got a choice to say, you know what?
Yeah. Do you know what?
I don't like digging.
What bothers me, I have to say, is that all these people that want to eat the food but they don't want to do the work behind growing the food, yeah, and they don't want to get themselves dirty. Really? Come on, man. Freeman, what you got to say about that?
I understand that.
He's looking for
You
trouble,
mucked it
right?
up.
I was actually talking about him, yeah. You're looking for trouble, yeah. Stop lying about you understand that. You understand. Oh, you understand that. Not understand that. You're such a
Man, such a man.
let me buy
Such
you that
a
plant
wonderful
anyway. Let me
man.
buy you that plant, yeah. When's your birthday?
Can't disclose that right now.
Well,
Yeah,
don't worry,
yeah.
because I know. I
Alright.
got you on my black book, yeah. I'm gonna buy you that plant to eat your life when you're sleeping.
There's some plants that eat people though. Yeah, I know. That doesn't mean say they could commit murder though. You
No,
can't be
it
giving
wasn't me.
Can't give the plant the man to the plant.
Front page of the next the newspaper.
Right.
See your plant beer.
So even back to the communication of plants now.
Yeah.
You showed me something last week, which I'm saying like the plants talk to us, and we don't realize that they're speaking to us. Yeah, that's why I kind of like got into this thing a little bit more. Then I ended up into the mountains and the this and the that and everything.
right.
I went through a whole heap of things so that I can
Yeah.
have a nice conversation with you today. But Pearls was supposed to get the beating and she's not here, so
It's fine.
you know.
So
What I mean?
it was meant to be. It was meant to be.
Right.
But I will. May I share?
Mm-hmm.
So plants communicate. I'll go back. Plants communicate with us, and they communicate. From my knowledge, they definitely communicate with each other, and they communicate with each other through this web of communication under the surface of the earth. That's called mycelium. People, mycelium. Yeah. So mycelium is a fungus, really, that runs under the surface of the earth.
Oh, you mean the Madridium line, something like that.
Mycelium, yeah.
Madridium.
Mycelium.
No.
Yes.
Botrytium.
Mycelium. Are we talking different language? Potato.
Ley lines.
Yes.
Right.
Under the surface.
No,
No.
not ley
It's not
lines.
ley lines. No, it's
The
mycelium.
Botrytium line.
No. We're talking about fungus.
Fungus. It's
Oh,
a fungus.
fungus.
It's a web of fungus that is under the earth. You see when you pick something up, sometimes you see that white. It looks like what does it look like?
Spider web. Cobweb.
Yeah, it looks like a web. It looks like
Yeah, so that thing there. Yeah, what
that's
about
how
that?
they communicate
Who
with each
communicate
other.
with that?
What the plants do with each other. So you can have one plant in Africa and one plant in Jamaica, and they will talk to each other through that web of communication, which is where the matrix, it comes from. I think, in my belief, that the whole, thing, the whole, we look at the way that the matrix today's society. We look at the internet. We look at the way that your brain, the points in your brain and how your brain is, the structure of your brain. It all is pretty much similar. It's the same. It's the same structure. Is that
Okay.
is that web of is a web.
I'm glad you said the plant, like how you're connecting the earth now, like a brain. Like the brain is like a map of
It
electrons
is.
and
That's what it
currents.
is. That's what it is.
Right. So that's the brain. Yeah. But there's also there's so much things going on with this earth to make me believe. Not even believe. I know that this earth is alive. Literally alive. And it knows what's going on, and it knows what everybody's doing
Yes.
to the earth. It's just a matter of time before the earth decides to get rid of
Yes. And when it
those
does,
who want to destroy the earth. You
it
understand?
knows everything.
So you got the earth that's not pleased with what's going on. You got the air that's not pleased with what's going on. You understand? And you got the sky that's not pleased with what's going on. And this kind of man, because they're not mankind, because there's no kindness in them. So I don't know how them say mankind. These man them is trying to destroy the earth because these man them are not a part of this earth. These man them cannot connect to the earth. They do not relate to the earth. So if a man's going to destroy his house, that means say him not love him house. So that means that this is not his house. That's why he's destroying it and chopping down all the trees and polluting all the waters, because this is not
Poisoning.
his house. This is our house. You understand? And these guys wanted to evict us from day one. You understand? From the time they move in, they want to evict us out of our house. This is our house. You understand? That's why we're connected to the earth. But we have to do something for the earth. I mean, when I say we have to do something for nothing, when I say there's nothing, we can, but the earth and elements has got so much power that it can just deal with anything just like that. You understand what I'm
That's
saying?
true. Well, that's the last case scenario.
That's the last
innit?
case scenario.
If we don't back ourselves up.
It's
that's
not us,
exactly-
it's them. It's them, guide
Yeah,
them.
but we have a collaboration. We have a duty as beings in this borrowed time to fulfill our purpose, right?
Which is part of what?
Well, I know what my purpose is. I can planting my plants and whatnot, but everyone's got a purpose. Everyone has a task. Another.
I think you're
Interesting.
good at. I think what you're doing is good because you're actually letting people understand that there is a relationship with us and the earth.
There is,
Yeah, and we can have a relationship with the earth and with the plants. So in a way, you're kind of needed in this matrix to make people realize we are connected to these things, whether we like it or not.
Yes.
And we eat these things to survive.
Yes.
So do you not love the things you eat?
We eat it to
Yeah.
survive.
You understand?
We use it for our own benefit in many ways. We were talking about the clothing and what sort. We use it to make us feel good about ourselves mentally, psychologically. You know, being around it, breathing the air. Watching, I mean, even just watching a bee going into a plant and pollinating, there's beauty in it.
The bee pollinating.
Yes. What's going on with you? You
Is-
can-
I'm gonna. Oh yeah, there's another. There's a part of the show where we kind of keep it real.
yes.
Yeah, because obviously because you're a guest here today, and you're in her seat. I can't say what I normally would say.
Which is good.
No,
No. it
no.
is. But I'm saying the natural things that we take for granted, that we see every day, with that we don't actually acknowledge, but it all has a purpose. And sometimes when you're feeling, all right, on the real, if you're feeling a little bit low about yourself, and you take a walk down to the marshes or down to the canal or the river, and you happen to see a little ducky mummy, ducky children, or ducky ducklings or whatever, all of a sudden you're gonna see beauty in that. But yes, if you were walking past the marshes to go to work or go and meet a friend, you completely miss that.
So it means when you're depressed, you go to the river and look at these things.
I won't say when I'm depressed. No, that's not what I do. When I need a little bit of tuning in, I
You just go for a walk.
I go, not just a walk. I need to be around water. Personally,
Water,
that's me.
the current again. Water is current.
Yeah, I need to cleanse myself and I just need to be around water.
I noticed there's a lot of things to do with water, right? Even in my family, I've noticed that the grandchildren kind of thing, they got this thing about water. These young children, they got this thing about water, where they just using a lot of water for some reason. They just connecting to water. I've noticed that a lot for some reason. It's happening. I'm saying, water's going too quick in this house. What's going on? Why is all the water moved? So I'm saying they got something to do with water. They're doing something. Water is a powerful element, and you know that water can be programmed and all of this stuff. You're familiar with the programming of water.
Yes.
So
It goes deep.
what you're doing is very necessary, because, as I said, people need to know their connection to nature, to the earth.
Thank you.
So maybe you should write a book or something.
I really want to.
Yeah.
It's something that I wanted to do it as a child, but I didn't know what I'll be writing about, because I just remembered as a child.
I know someone who can help you.
Who's that? Okay, you can tell me after.
Yeah, I know someone who can help you
As-
write a book.
as-
He's one of the DJs.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he wrote his first book.
Nice one.
Yeah.
What an achievement. Well done, him.
Nah, he actually done the metaphologies of words.
Oh my gosh, here we go. That's proper deep, innit?
That's
I
his
love
first
that.
book.
Wow.
He used
For
to
first book.
That's his very first book. He used to live in a car.
Okay.
He had nowhere to live, and he was living in a car. You understand what I'm saying? And he excelled from that, and then come on the radio, and he's written his book.
Yeah.
His book sold off.
Well done.
That's
him.
from somebody who started from. So he can give you his journey of how he wrote his book, which you need to understand that journey before you do write a book.
That's how I would
You
love to do
understand?
that.
So you need to ask somebody who's been at the rock bottom
Yeah.
and and the book became successful. You don't want to listen to somebody who wrote a book, but yet they still got boxes of them pile up.
No.
They're
I've
doing
still
something
think-
wrong.
I think when the time comes, I'll definitely do something.
Jammers,
trying to
yeah,
work
that's
in
the
that-
bread.
work out
Yeah, I can let you guys talk,
Yeah.
or even arrange a show where you can
Discuss about
discuss
the
the
book.
thing about book writing, because that's a nice topic still.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would. Yeah, and we talk about that quite a lot, innit,
Yeah.
man?
Yeah, so he's the guy who started. He's a guy who can deal with that. There's other people available, but it's good that you talk to Jammers, because, as I said, he started from rock bottom, and now he's where he is now. I mean, he's got his own yard. He can do what he wants to do. He's got his job now. His books are sold out. You know what I mean? He's where he needs to be in his
Mhm.
life.
Yeah.
So,
Can I share something with you guys before we go? Because I need to.
Mhm.
It's a story from yesterday, just in nature, because you mentioned car. It has nothing to do with car. What I'm
Mhm.
gonna say, but it has to do with homeless.
mm,
So yesterday we went to put some fuel in the car, myself and my son,
mhm,
my boy, and as we come out the car, we see this homeless. Not homeless, but this guy that was begging, black guy,
Mhm.
Afro.
mhm.
You know, he seemed to be okay, but there was something about him. And my son straight away said, Mummy, remember this is the guy that you bought coffee for last time?
Mhm.
Because we went there before. And he asked me if I could buy him something. And I said, yeah, I'll buy you, I won't give you money, but I'll buy you something.
Mm.
And so again, he went straight to the guy and he went, oh, I remember you. My mummy bought you coffee last time.
Mhm, mhm.
Anyway, the guy was really nice. He asked for money, but he was very polite in the way that he asked for money. So on the way out from the actual shop,
Mhm.
gave him a little change. Well, my son gave him a little change. I have to stop him because he goes in my purse and he starts giving changes to anyone who asks him for money. I can't be working to give out money. But anyway, cut a long story short. Cut a long story short. As we was driving off, my son just said, "Mummy, stop the car." So I stopped the car thinking, what's he gonna do? We just picked some flowers about 10 minutes before, yeah. Guy come out the car, ran to the guy and gave him a flower, yeah. So the guy nearly had tears in his eyes. He just could not believe the love that a child gave to him just by giving him a flower. So there you go. They don't call me flower lady for nothing.
I had a couple of experience with these with the younger ones lately. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of us who's getting this experience where these younger ones are coming to you and doing a little, I don't know, they're communicating with on a love level which is slightly different. You know what I mean? And I've seen that lately, especially children of different nationalities has come to me. You know what I mean? And just want to take a picture with me and stuff like. I don't even know this guy. You know what I mean?
Makes you feel good, yeah.
Yeah. This guy is about. Who was this guy? He was French, little French boy. He's with his mum and everybody. Oh, I want to take a picture with you. Why? You know what I mean? But they can pick up things. You know what I mean, that we can't pick up. And I started saying, and I'm not talking about just black boys. I'm talking black girls, black boys, white girls, children. In general, of all different nationalities, are tuning into this. They're in tune to this vibration, and we got to also be in tune to the vibration that they can understand that we are there for them, and they can come to us. You understand? So that was it is. So that's it.
Wrap up.
Right. So people, that was the show. Yeah, it was kind of sudden ending because I just realised their mandate is in wherever they are. I got to plug them in. Hold on, Mr. Saad. Oh. Wherever he may be. This is what happens when people trouble people's things. Alright. Any last closing statement, Freeman? Before we
Yeah, it was interesting.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, that's what it is.
So
today.
what about the work that you do?
Well, Mr. Freeman, we can talk about a little bit. Anyway, he says he does all sorts of things. Anything else you want to add before we?
No, I'll add next time.
Okay.
That's a lie, Satil.
No, man, there'll be a next time, man. No problem with that. Okay. So, what we're going to do, we're going to round up the team. We're going to have Freeman come in, yeah, and we're going to talk to Freeman, and we're just going to talk the thing, man thing, you know what I mean? Man conversation, man to man.
That's fine.
All right, so that this is where you have to end up kick back and relax, let the man them talk about
That's
the man
fine.
things them.
I can
You know
get
what I
to
mean?
rest.
You know what I mean? And that will be that. So people, same time next week, Pearls will be in.